It's reported that an injured shoulder will keep Stephen Curry out of action for nearly a month. Will the Golden State Warriors be the same without him? That's not a rhetorical question, nor is it meant to spark a debate over whether or not the club should lose hope for making the playoffs. In this video, we're going to analyze what the team may look like without Stephen Curry, so stay tuned to find out.
But first, a reminder about our brand new giveaway. We're giving away a PS5 with a copy of NBA 2022 and Madden 22. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
Starting off statistically, how big is the hole left by Steph Curry? 1 month prior to each NBA season, we predict the box score production of every rotation-level player in the league. These projections incorporate a number of methods, but one way we account for the absence of a high-usage player is to anticipate which teammates will step up to take more shots, pass more often, and make less mistakes. Another strategy involves placing more emphasis on the minutes played, such as who is most likely to fill those minutes and how their previous per-minute production would convert to those larger minutes. Without Steph, we plan to use both of these strategies for the Warriors. This season, Curry has a 31.1 usage percentage, ranking 12th in the NBA. He averages 20.2% shooting from the field, including 11.6% from beyond the arc, 5.2% shooting from the free throw line, 6.8% assist rate, and 3.1% turnover rate. The statistics that need to be met there are enormous. Honorary third splash brother Jordan Poole, like the other two, is a combo guard who can shoot the three and run an offense effectively. Up next, could Jordan Poole fill in for Curry? Before the playoffs began last year, Curry missed the final 12 games of the regular season due to an injury he sustained on March 16. Poole stepped in for Curry in those games and performed duties very similar to what he will presumably take on this year. If we use Poole's output from that busy month earlier this year as a model for what to expect from him now, we get an estimate of 26 points per game from him this season. Although these figures are intriguing since they are based on a bygone era, they could have been simply projected using the time and production vacuum methods already discussed. Poole's numbers in Curry's absence towards the end of last season were very close to what he averaged. If you look at his per-minute averages from the first 23 games of the season multiplied by 35.3 minutes per game and increased all of his shot attempts by 10%, that reassures us that our projections for Poole over the next month are pretty solid. Moving on, in comes the OG Splash Brother, Klay Thompson. The original Splash Brother is up next. Last year, Thompson was still getting back into game form when Curry was down, and he began this year in a similar position. Therefore, it's highly unlikely that a simple subtraction of the final month's figures from the previous season or a projection from this season as a whole will yield an accurate result. Thompson has established a level of productivity more congruent with his typical worth than his season-long averages. While playing 33.1 minutes per game in the past 10 games despite having Curry in the lineup, using his averages from those 10 games and projecting a 10% increase in his shot attempts across the board, we can predict Thompson's offensive output in the absence of Curry will be around 25.2 points per game. It may be argued that the high number of points scored and three-pointers attempted is aggressive, but it's not completely out of the question. That's the best-case scenario, and we'd probably be satisfied with an average of 23 points per game and 4 three-pointers made. Still not quite at his old explosive level. Thompson may not receive quite as many open three-point attempts over the next month if Curry is not dragging opponents away from him. However, he may also receive more opportunities to take possession of the ball and attack the basket, which may boost his shooting percentage but also lead to a few more giveaways. Coming up, let's not count Andrew Wiggins out. Due to Curry's absence, the Warriors may look to Andrew Wiggins, their third high-usage scorer. Wiggins is still out for yet another game after missing the previous 5 due to a groin strain, but he's been given the green light to return to practice and is expected to make his return well ahead of Curry. In every game this season, Wiggins has scored at least 10 points. However, his totals have ranged from 10 to 36, although with Curry out, he should get more regular looks. And that variation was partly attributable to the Warriors having so many scorers. As the season went on, he improved, and his performance in the last 13 games was really good. Wiggins has shot the three-pointers more frequently and accurately than any before in his career, and he's averaged over 20 points per game in successive seasons. Wiggins' offensive projections without Curry, based on a 10% increase in his shot attempts over the prior 13 games, suggest that Wiggins may also see an increase in rebounds, as Curry had a higher rebound rate than his replacements at the point guard position, giving him an additional 8 or so boards a game. Next up, can Draymond Green make a difference? Even when Curry is on the court, Draymond Green acts as the point point guard, but his scoring prowess is no longer sufficient to rely on. However, with Curry out of the lineup, he has an opportunity to significantly boost his assist rate by more than 8 a game. So who knows, maybe he might make a difference. Finally, Donte DiVincenzo is probably the one. And now we come to the person who will likely see the bulk of Curry's playing game, guard Donte DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo is the greatest candidate to earn the full-on sixth-man minutes comparable to Poole's current 28.4 minutes per game. Out of the bench, players who could see a jump in minutes include both Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga. DiVincenzo should be able to manage the increased workload this month. This is because he's played similar amounts of minutes before in his career. After missing the first half of the season with an injury, DiVincenzo has shown remarkable improvement in his performance during the past 9 games. If we estimate his per-minute averages from the previous 9 games, we get the forecasts for the next 30 days based on an average of 28.4 minutes per game, with DiVincenzo averaging 12.3 points per game. In the end, a player of Curry's caliber simply does not exist. The Warriors will try to fill the void he leaves behind by redistributing playing time and shot attempts. As an example, let's try and guess what their updated figures would look like using this method. However, they might serve as appropriate reference points for those of you considering a move in your fantasy league, DFS game, or daily props market. Now let's move on and talk about how long Curry will be out for. The Warriors have had a rough start to the season and now must deal with the likelihood that their best player could miss time due to injuries. The loss of their star player has given the Golden State Warriors even more reason to be pessimistic about the upcoming 2022-23 season. So let's see how much Curry might take to recover. Starting off, the Warriors sweat on Steph Curry's shoulder injury after the Pacers' loss. The Warriors' luck ran out on a sour note on Wednesday. It didn't help matters that they lost 125-119 to the Indiana Pacers, but star guard Steph Curry also appeared to have suffered a shoulder injury. The following week, Curry had an MRI as announced by Warriors coach Steve Kerr. It was late in the third quarter when the injury occurred, right after Curry had missed a three-pointer and the Pacers had gone on a fast break thanks to the offensive rebound. Curry tried to steal the ball from Jalen Smith as Smith drove to the hoop, but it appears that while he made contact with the ball, he also injured his shoulder. Right after that, Curry was observed visibly wincing in pain as he clutched his shoulder, and it got to the point where the Warriors had to take a timeout just to get rid of him. His immediate reaction was to head to the locker room, and he was eventually ruled out for the remainder of the game. The tragic part is that the Warriors star player had already racked up 38 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists prior to the injury. Up next, what have the Warriors said about Steph Curry's injury? As was indicated before, it was Kerr who provided some post-game details on the condition of his star player. "We will have an MRI tomorrow," Kerr added. He further said that tomorrow we'll tell them about his condition. He didn't inquire as to what his pain level was, but he has faith in the medical staff's ability, and they said that he wouldn't be playing again immediately. In the end, he concluded that he did have a quick check-in with him, but they didn't have much time to get into specifics. He did say that his mood was bright. As expected, Steph has a positive attitude in life and was feeling wonderful. All they can do is hope for the best. Finally, Steph Curry gives an update on his shoulder injury. To hear Steph Curry tell it, he hasn't even thought about picking up a basketball yet. During the game versus the Knicks, Curry said that the fact that this is the first shoulder injury of this type makes it all the more intriguing. Thus, they'll have to take a wait-and-see stance. He then added that he's still at the beginning of his recovery process, so he can't even think of picking up a basketball at the moment. Well, there's no word yet on the extent of the injury and how long he'll be sidelined because of it. The loss of the 4-time NBA champion would be devastating for the current champions, who aren't exactly defending their crown. Back in 2019, Curry missed only 5 games due to a fractured hand. Thus, this will be his first extended absence since then. The Warriors' 15-50 record that year was the poorest in the NBA, so they'll be looking forward to a speedy recovery for him. Well, that's a wrap for this video, so who do you think will play a key role in filling for Steph Curry? Let us know in the comments below. Hey, if you liked the video, hit like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next one.